Hi Lifescapers, it is Denisha. I am back with another video this week. We are discussing resiliency because we all need some help on pushing through, getting through, and how we're actually getting through these times. At the beginning of each month, we send out a newsletter that discusses what our team has been doing over that month and what is to come for the next month. We are entering May. If you have not subscribed, go to lifescapecounselingservices.com. We have a little blurb on our newsletter. There is a writing prompt, and it is about what is resiliency. So today we're going to chat through it, and I encourage you guys to still take an opportunity to use this prompt on your own time to write down what resiliency means to you and just having your own self-reflection of resiliency. So let's begin. So the first question on that blurb is, what does resiliency mean to you? In order to have a clear understanding of what something means to you, let's first go off of the definition. So I'll read it. The term resilience means the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties or toughness. Read the second definition. It is the ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape or elasticity. So when I think of the term resilient and what that means to me individually, what that's meaning to my clients, what is that meaning to us as a community, a nation right now. Some people look at resilience in different ways. It can be looked at as a noun, like a thing, something that helps you push through. So resiliency is, even in the midst of my frustration or my turmoil or my crisis, what is it that I am able to do to reframe my focus and to be able to bounce back from that situation? So just like right now in this pandemic, our resiliency is how quick are we able to look at the outcome, the light at the end of this tunnel. Although we have no definicy on what will become of all of this or when the social ban will be released, it's the inner awareness of knowing that this is not going to be always and that this is temporary. Some of us want that, we need that. We're going to discuss what it is. We have to discuss how to get there. How do I get to a place where when something negative does happen, I'm not just dwelling in that negative space? The 7 C's of the way to essentially build your resilience, okay? The first one is competence. So competence is, do I know what I'm doing? Like, do I have the skill craft to get through this? Sometimes we overthink and we have anxiety based off of the unknown. And so if my unknown is also filled with being incompetent, like I don't know how to do this task to get through this obstacle, or I don't know where to even begin to reach out for help. If I don't have this skill, the beauty is we're human. We need support. Sometimes we're going to go through some stuff and we're going to go through some situations we have never encountered before. And so if I haven't encountered this obstacle before, I may not have the skill set to get through it. So here is the next C. The next C is connection. Am I connecting with the appropriate people? Okay. Appropriate people means like, am I connecting on social media just spread my business? And I know for some people that is an emotional release. It's an outlet. It's a way for people to get some stuff out their chest, say some things, they out. I get on, I vent, I say what I gotta say, I'm back out, right? Okay, if I have not connected with the appropriate person, the person on social media just might feel my feelings of incompetence. It may feel my feelings of negativity. So I have to be intentional when I am struggling to connect with the appropriate person. Is this person going to help me with the skill set that I need? Is this person going to give me a positive perspective versus just waddling in my mess with me? Now, granted, I know that sometimes we need validation. Sometimes we need people to just connect with and to feel like, okay, I'm not the only person that's going through this. So yes, I can connect with people specifically just for validation, to make me feel like I'm not so isolated and alone in whatever this is that I'm going through. Now, after I've gotten my feelings validated, what's the next step? because the appropriate connection is also the resource that I need for creative solution, which leads to the third C. The third C is character. If I want a characteristic of mine to be resiliency, that I have the ability to bounce right back, then I also have to look for other people with that characteristic. So I can't go over to Debbie Downer and just tell her. This also applies in the previous step of when I'm looking for connection, I'm looking for the person with the characteristic that I want to align with. Getting through your tough times, you need a clear sense on right and wrong, a clear sense on positive or negative. And so if I have the characteristic of being in a negative space or being a Debbie Downer myself, I have to be mindful where that stems from. Like, does it stem from, is this my overall characteristic? Is what I'm going through impacting my characteristic traits right now? Or am I feeding off the characteristics that are surrounding me? Friends and family, yes, we love them. They are dear to us. But when you are in the midst of your own mess, we need boundaries on the negative character traits that will rub off on us and furthermore not even allow us to see the positive. So that leads us to the fourth C. The fourth C is control. So when we are going through some things and we may feel that we're completely out of control of whatever is going on, some of us are feeling like that right now. The circumstance may be outside of my control. Okay, so my objective is, what is it that I am still in control of? So just with the previous tip on setting boundaries with others and characteristics, you have so much control over that. You have control over who you allow into your space, what energy you allow to feed you, and what energy you feed. Yes, this pandemic is something that is outside of our control. What is inside of our control of the media that I watch, I'm in control of the men that are around this pandemic. I'm in control of the information that I choose to believe. Everything that you see is not believable. However, if I can present anything to you and make a believer out of you, you are not in control. You are allowing everything and everyone else to be in control of you. So, being mindful of just how am I going about, just because people know you at home right now, you don't have to pick up the phone every time someone calls. When I feel out of control, there is a lack of confidence. The way that I feel about myself takes me so far in the way that I behave. So let's just do a CBT tip. I feel unmotivated, I just feel blah. I'm not liking what I see today. Feeling like the same old. So here's where the reframing comes in. At home, I'm comfortable, I'm in my own space. But let's at least put on clean clothes. Like, even if we have on pajamas, let's wash the pajamas. Let's change our clothes. We're keeping our hygiene up, the space around us tidy. Because what I sit in, I become. So if I'm sitting in this, I become it. You know what I'm saying? So let me just paint this picture for you. As a therapist that uses art therapy technique, here we go. If I'm sitting at home, on the days where I feel my worst, I make it intentional to put on some clothes, even if I'm not going anywhere, doing my hair. That all makes me feel confident. So when I feel confident, I feel more in control. Now I feel I can contribute to this obstacle. I have something to give to myself, to this journey that I'm trotting. Even if you feel that you are not able to contribute to the current obstacle that you're going through, I find that in other ways. So sometimes taking a step from my own stuff and serving someone else helps me feel that I have contributed to the well-being. So for example, we got financial strain, concerned about what we're going to do about a bill coming up. But on today, a family member came to mind. Okay, today let's not focus on the bill. The bill due date still gonna be there. The obstacle is still there. Now that we've gone through how to build your resilience, why is it important? Resiliency is important because it can be a protective factor. Like if I have resilience, I have the ability to know that I'm coming out of this. So it helps decrease the stress, it helps decrease feeling overwhelmed. So it's kind of like a balance effect. Think of it like a balance beam. Okay, so we know we're going to have storms and tests and obstacles to go through. That's the inevitable. That's the uncontrollable factor. What I can control is knowing that this too shall pass. Stuff that we get overwhelmed about. If you think back, you've been through worse, child. This is not the first time you've had a financial strain or that you've had to be alone without your loved ones. And sometimes it takes for me to look back on the reminders and say, okay, we did get through that in one piece. Like, we cool, we good, we can get through this. Let's go. The bounce back. It also helps protect you from developing mental disorders. Yes, mental disorders can be diagnosed through genetics. Biochemistry is super important related to mental diagnosis. However, some mental diagnoses are transformed through the way that we cope. Coping is actually the biggest C. I saved that one purposely. The way that we cope has so much to do with the outcome. There's something that you're in control of. Everything around me is going haywire, so I choose to self-sabotage. That impacts the outcome. Or, everything around me is going haywire, and I choose to take care of myself, to love on myself a little bit more, to take time out for me, to choose what I want instead of always trying to say yes to what everyone else wants. That not only pushes me through as a stronger individual, but the outcome, I'm standing on the other end as an overcomer and not defeated by what I just went through. How has resiliency helped you, and has it ever held you back? Now that's a good one, because although it is important to have the ability to bounce back, sometimes we try to move too fast. And if I feel that this is something that I'm not supposed to be going through, like in my mind I tell myself that I just don't feel this is fair, I don't feel that this is gonna help me at all, it's gonna help me grow, then I may just try to avoid the whole situation in itself. So it keeps me from pushing through. Pushing through is I have the ability to cope with whatever is happening versus avoiding it. I'm not dealing with it at all. I don't want to deal with it. I'm not figuring out how to deal with it. I'm just going to sit it on this shelf, let it sit, and however it festers, it festers. That can hold you back, because what is not resolved is just recycled. Yeah. Because whatever I appropriately don't release, it just recycles over and over and over again. I don't have time to be going through the same stuff over and over again. I want to have the ability and the confidence enough to know that we're going through this test, whether I like it or not. So how am I going to get through it? So I gotta go to my 7 C's so that I can push through it. How have you overcome and grown from times of adversity? Is to help clients and my loved ones to see the positive when we're going through some very tough negatives. However, if I can take the negative and see the positive, literally nothing, no one can defeat me but me. It's all up to me. I hope this conversation encouraged you guys to just know that, honey, we are going to get through, okay? Whatever your test is, pass your test. Go to your 7 C's. If you feel you once had resiliency and it is nowhere to be found right now, you can regain it. Figuring out, what am I going with that? If nothing else, I hope that you guys took away that if I have the undeniable belief that I will get through it, I also have to put effort into how I'm getting through it. Your bounce back is so necessary. It's so needed. And even if you have been going through this obstacle for a long time, sometimes it may look like there is no light at the end of the tunnel, but you better believe it is. Sometimes it may look like there is no solution, but you don't stop fighting for the solution. You don't stop looking for the solution, because the moment you give up on you, you lose your bounce back. I hope you guys enjoyed this chat. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks again for watching. Bye.